bills.
that cannot be traced, and the guy has been doing it for 20 years and he's never lost a bill.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like that happens. But I love Travers because I gotta say, watching it more and more, you realize that all he does is swear. His swearing is like Reservoir Dogs-esque. But I just loved having this weird guy being the villain.
Well, and again, I wouldn't even say he was the villain. I would say he's like almost a victim, because John Lithgow and his team of bandits, they're the villains of the movie, and they've coerced this like unsatisfied agent into doing this heist with the promise of money. But you know, and I know, if everything went according to plan, he was never going to live.
Never. They were going to kill him.
Never going to live. So he's this unfortunate. I think he has a very sad life.
I think his life was his job.
Right.
And he began to feel underappreciated because 20 years down the line, he's like, this is my life.
What do I have to show for my life? I've never lost a bill.
Yeah.
And there's even lines at the beginning where it's like, why is it that they were like, that guy was going to hitch a ride with them?
Yeah, the FBI guy.
And they made some thing about like, oh, the treasury agents are the unsung heroes or whatever. And he's like, yeah, we always get the bad assignments. There was some comment about like, of all the government agencies, the treasury agents are the ones that really got it rough.
Everybody wants what we have.
Yeah.
Because they're untraceable, right? Once you get them out of the country.
Yeah. No, they're for overseas banking transactions or something. It was some very, very weird specific thing.
Oh yeah, the bills we use are only used for international transactions.
Yeah. It was some like very like, here's why John Lithgow wants these very specific bills. Now, also, I want to say that in 93, this plane to plane like person transfer was dynamite. And then I'm watching it, I'm like, that's where Nolan got it for The Dark Knight Rises.
At 100%. And they did it, and they couldn't do it in Italy, so they did it in America, and they paid the guy $1 million to do it.
Yeah.
They really did that stunt.
Yeah, no, that happened. They can't fake that in 93.
Yeah, there's no way. There's like Jurassic Park's out, but Jurassic Park couldn't have done that.
No.
Yeah, that was sick, right? That's why I like Renny Harlin with Long Kiss Goodnight, even with certain like Deep Blue Sea. I love his Die Hard 2. He just goes for it. He likes big, and they definitely did big. And I bet Stallone's powers got that done.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing. Stallone, he was tied to what's the company? Clarion or
oh yeah. Clarion, right?
Yeah, so he was gonna make a buddy cop or a buddy like comedy movie, and then that got scrapped, and then he was gonna do instead. What was he gonna do? There was like he was on contract, but the movie kept changing, and he was gonna do like a science fiction. So he was gonna do a buddy movie with John Candy. Yeah, so. Originally signed Sylvester Stallone to appear opposite John Candy in a comedy about feuding neighbors, titled Bartholomew versus Knife.
Oh, that's fun.
Right? It was going to be written by John Hughes.
What?
Yeah, it sounds like an amazing thing. And then that got dropped, and it was going to be a futuristic science fiction movie, which is about a genetically created monster who gets loose on a high-speed runaway train.
Well, so that's like what's that Train to Busan?
Exactly. So then that got scrapped because Ridley Scott and Roland Emmerich couldn't like decide on who was going to direct it or something like that.
Oh, because Roland was hot off Universal Soldier.
Right.
Oh, we covered that too. You should listen to it.
Exactly. So then that all got dropped, and then they picked up this movie. And if you look at the credits when it's starting, it doesn't say written by or based on a book. It says based on, hold on, I have it in my notes.
Screen
here.
story?
No. It says, it's amazing. It's my favorite thing ever. It says, based on a premise.
It says that.
Yeah, in the opening credits, it's like, based on a premise by whoever. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. That it's just like some guy was in the room who's like, what about,
I had that thought when I saw that, I forgot what the words were about. I want that to be my job. All right. Whoopi Goldberg with the dinosaur. Next.
Here's the premise. Baby taxi cab.
Remake Poseidon. Wait. No. Wait. based on the suggestion that this be remade.
Right.
I want
Based
that
on the
job. Oh my god! And
I
Kurt Russell
think
lives though.
Kurt Russell lives.
Yeah.
Exactly. But that would be a dynamite job. Just here's a premise. Go for it.
And everyone thinks you're a genius. It's just you in a room, Adam, and you just have. You fit so many posters in there that you've created that you've had to start getting the mini posters because you can't fit full size posters anymore because you have a whiteboard and then you just write an idea and everyone just claps.
So I would be down, like legit. I know sometimes we go on like hilarious tangents, but I'm saying if you and I started a company called Right on Premise, and you came up with the ideas, Mark, I made posters for them, and we just sent companies mock-up posters. We should say, here's your movie.
We should do a podcast. Our next podcast should be me pitching you movies.
Right.
And then that's our favorite ones we'll make posters for.
But like Stranger Things have happened. Like, did you ever watch the show The Fall Guy with Lee Majors?
Yeah.
So that show was sold on the theme song.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, Lee Majors went in for the meeting. He's like, I want to do a show. Here's the song. And he sang the theme song, and they said, yep, we'll make that show. So, like, things have happened that are crazier than, like, do you know the Vin Diesel story with, like, the Riddick movies?
No, what happened?
So it's, like, I think that this is, like, he and a buddy, I forget who it was, they wrote, Pitch Black, which was the first of the Riddick movies.
I want to be a fly in the wall for those writing sessions.
Well, he walked in with 5 binders, all with locks on them, and he gave them one key that opened the first binder, which was Pitch Black, and he says, if you make this movie, I'll give you the next key.
Wow.
So it's almost like an Indiana Jones-like adventure for the guys at Warner Brothers who are like, well, I don't know what's in the other binders. We need to find out.
Do we have to make Pitch Black first, or what?
Yeah, they had to make Pitch Black, and if they made Pitch Black, you give them the next movie, and the next movie was The Chronicles of Riddick.
And he loves quests. He's a D&D guy.
Yeah.
Wow. He's a V&D guy.
He's a V&D guy, which, to be fair, we all should be V&D guys.
Well, Vin Diesel. No. I'm not trying to say other things.
No, he's not. He has no venereal diseases.
Yeah, I earnestly meant Vin Diesel. That could have gone horrible. Agree. Okay, good. You didn't see any other options, did you?
No, I was just like, he's saying Vin Diesel. I'm like, that's a brilliant, clean joke, is what I said in my mind.
Good. See, we think the same way.
Exactly. But anyways, all I have to say is this movie was based on a premise because all the other movies that he was signed on, like all the other things that came out for his deal with Clarion, or not Clarion, it's whatever the movie was. The
Touchdown? Was Wait, no, was it Clarion? I thought it was Clarion.
No, it's Carlico.
Oh, Carlico.
Yeah. But so these things kept falling through, so then they're like, well, here's a premise of a guy in the mountains, Die Hard in the mountains, whatever you want to call it. And so that's what this is.
And we've also talked about Icebreaker, which kicked off because of a plane crashing.
Right. And
I have to...
Very similar to, I think Icebreaker was, let's do Cliffhanger meets Die Hard on a budget of $8.
And also, I just want to tell you something. In this movie, Stallone slaloms on a guy, on a henchman. Yes. We just potted about Willow, and they slide down a ice mountain. Then, on Thursday, I'm doing a podcast about Jumper, and Michael Rooker's in that. So all of my podcasts are just starting to have themes or coincidences, familiar elements.
That was the most troubling part for me, was when he ground his face into the ice.
It was brutal.
Because I've been on a toboggan hill and you fall down and you scrape your face on the ice. And even just for a second, but just him to just grind it, I felt that pain.
He turned that guy's face into lasagna.
That's revolting, but yes, he did.
And that's a good visual, isn't it?
Oh no! And the thing is,
and then the guy went flying off the mountain.
aside from the Lost Beastmaster set where they're in the frozen icicle bridge, this movie looked great all around.
Oh, there's some shots where in my notes, all caps, great shot.
Yeah, no, it's you're watching, you're like, wow, they really put some energy into it. And also, when the plane crashed at the beginning, I was like, excellent miniatures. You could tell they're miniatures, but they're excellent miniatures.
I love a good miniature.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question for you. There's a scene in this movie where people keep referring to Sylvester Stallone, the criminals keep referring to Stallone and Rooker as mountain people. And then there's one scene where they go like, they call them like rednecks. And I'm like, are these kind of mountain people, they're climbers, they're athletes. Are they rednecks? Like why did they have this why did they assume that these people were maybe from east, much further east? They kept referring to them as mountain people.
Yeah, they talk to them like they're supporting cast members from Justified, when
yes, that's perfect. Yeah.
So what I think happened, so these guys, like all the bad guys, are indescribably Eastern European, but we're not sure where from.
Yeah.
They all have natural accents, and then they're all putting on accents that are different. Like that's happening. John Lithgow has his like voice, but he's doing some weird accent. Like, so I think they like listen to. They're like, we're gonna go do this heist in America. So they watch like Coal Miner's Daughter as they're like, oh, these people are all like redneck mountain people like this.
Deliverance.
Exactly. So they came over like all these mountain people, but like clearly Stallone is from like the Bronx. Like,
yep.
He's the furthest thing from a mountain person.
I feel like he moved out there and he stayed.
Yeah, and even like the subsidiary characters that are there, they're like they've clearly guys were surfing in LA and they're like, you know what, bro? Let's go and like dive off a mountain. Like they're not mountain people. I would say that there are no mountain people in this entire movie, with the exception of maybe the helicopter pilot. What was his name? The old guy?
Frank.
Frank. Maybe he at one point in time was like the Sam Elliott of the group, or he was like the old weathered mountain person that got refined a little bit. But even he was like, he was the Paul Ingalls of this story. He was the untouchable, like, good person.
He was an artist. He drew up a painting of a banana eating a monkey.
Eating a monkey. Oh, I love that.
So I feel like he's, so in Asheville, right? I don't know if you've ever been. Oh, so there's a place called, Asheville, North Carolina?
I'm aware of the place. I've never been there.
So, very, just very artistic culture out there. A lot of like, just life and art and culture and all that kind of stuff. And everyone's like, oh yeah, that's North Carolina. But I'm like, no, you haven't been there. It's the farthest thing from it. It's not mountain people. So I think Frank maybe was from Asheville and he moved out west. That's kind of my backstory from him. An artist who kind of went out there to he moved out when he was younger and he never left.
Yeah, but there were no backwoods mountain people in this movie.
And they just kept calling, oh, you mountain people. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, you've really got your stereotypes wrong, John Lithgow.
They lived in a mansion. And that Sylvester Stallone, her name was
Jessie.
Jessie lived in a gigantic home on a ranch with horses.
Yeah. New horses, just on a whim.
Yeah.
You get a new horse?
And those are expensive.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because you live in the mountains.
Stallone driving a Range Rover?
Yeah, no, he's driving a beautiful vehicle. I don't remember what it was, but it was really nice.
It was the nicest ever of like we're going to be a rugged Jeep, but it's going to be like a very classy European version of the rugged Jeep. Like it wasn't like a Chevrolet truck, which a mountain person would drive.
In 10 years from now, people are going to look at that thing and be like, I'll give you a lot of money for it. Does that make sense?
100%.
Now I have another question.
I love all these questions.
There's a moment in this film where Lithgow looks at Rooker and he goes, you want to kill me? And Rooker's like, yeah. Which I love. Rooker, they always say things around Rooker and then he runs away and screams and saves Stallone's butt. I love, it keeps happening in this movie. It's beautiful. So Rooker goes, yeah. Then Lithgow looks at Rooker and he goes, take a number, and then get in line. But the thing I'm wondering is, when you take a number, that doesn't mean you have to go line up in a line, correct? Because you're like, when you're at the deli and you take a number, you go like sit down or you go browse the bagel chips or whatever's by the meat counter, and then they call you when you walk up.
Exactly. So, it removes the line altogether.
Yeah. So I was just wondering if I was crazy. Because You
No.
just take a number and get in line?